Clients are often very concerned about the possibility that they'll have this procedure and then the hairs that we've placed into the new position will fall out again. Now that's very, very unlikely, and there's a particular reason for this. It's a scientific principle called the principle of donor dominance. In other words, a tissue that has been grafted from a donor site to a recipient site will retain the characteristics that it had when it was in its original position. And this is why we take hairs from the back of the scalp and move them to the front. Because as we all know, when you look at men who've even gone fairly bald, they will retain good density of the hair at the back of the scalp and at the sides above the ears, the so-called horseshoe shape of permanent hair. So those hairs that we're taking from that permanent area will still be permanent when we move them to the front. Now, of course, we are still going to get the normal hair growth cycle. That is to say that hairs will grow for a certain amount of time and then they will go into a resting phase where they are not growing anymore, so they're not becoming any longer, but they're just sitting there as normal hairs. And then eventually we get to the final part of the phase, which is called the telogen phase, which is where the hairs fall out and are replaced by new hairs. Scalp hair generally has a telogen phase of about 6 weeks.